Tonight on News 5 Live, a man run over and a vehicle burned in Trial Farm. Dangriga wakes sparks controversy about social distancing. And Mexico sends Belize 100,000 doses of vaccine. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
It's a fact that with Smart, you get truly unlimited everything. Only with Smart, you get unlimited data anytime, while with the other guy, it's only double data on weekends. With unlimited data every day with Smart, there's no need to wait. So, it's a fact that our unlimited plans beat the competition. Stop being measured and told when to use your data and get unlimited talk, text, and data. Experience the true unlimited plans with Smart. That's a fact. Make the switch and live smart.
Introducing Edam A cheese, the A+ Dutch cheese to hit the Belizean market. As the name says, it is of A-class quality, the best Dutch cheese in Belize. Edam A cheese is creamier, less salty, and simply more delicious. Don't be left out. Get your A cheese at a supermarket near you. A cheese exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited. Call us at 610-3626 or 610-8910. Follow us on Facebook at Unitex Belize.
Working off-site doesn't mean you have to be off your game. Studies have shown that simply adding a keyboard and mouse to your laptop increases productivity by 26%. Add a monitor, and you'll be 35% more productive. At Fulltech Systems, we have what you need to enhance your remote work or e-learning experience. With devices such as headsets, video conferencing monitors, webcams, keyboards, mice, docking stations, all with the brands you trust. Keep connected with collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 Suite and Kaspersky and perform efficiently no matter where you are. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
it's a hammer, it's a drill, it's Super Handy Dads. That's right, folks, it's Super Handy Dads month again at Brothers Event. And do we have some super gifts for that super special dad? A Super Handy Dad needs his super tools. And all month long, we're giving you super savings of 15% off all power tools and accessories from Stanley, Black & Decker, DeWalt, Skill, Bosch, and 15% off Santool hand tools and hardware. So come in today to Brothers Abet on Barrack Road for Super Handy Dads Month and pick up those super tools at super savings.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Monday, June 14th. I am Sabrina Daly. A young man from Trial Farm, Orange Walk District, is dead, and an investigation is underway to determine whether the circumstances that led to his demise were intentional or accidental. Jillian Garcia was knocked down and killed shortly after leaving an establishment where he had an altercation with several individuals. Those persons have been detained, and at this time, it is up to the police to decide what charges will be preferred on the driver. News 5's Isani Cayetano headed north today and spoke with Garcia's family. Here's that story.
Was 19-year-old Jillian Garcia deliberately run over by someone he had an altercation with earlier on Sunday night? Or was it all just a coincidence that the driver of a Mitsubishi Outlander lost control of the sports utility vehicle and knocked him down?
He was coming towards his home when that vehicle knocked down my little brother. 4
persons, including 2 teenage minors, are in police custody pending the outcome of an investigation into Garcia's death. His family believes that he was murdered, and this now charred SUV was the weapon used to kill him.
They have to investigate first because they can't point somebody only because everything happened here is a gun related. They then say that he was fighting with 2 female, 1 male. Sir, if this a gang related, the 2 women and the male means that they are gang related too?
It happened here at Cantina's Mixed School Spot, a small establishment in Trial Farm Village. Garcia was out socializing with 3 others when he reportedly got into an argument with a group of patrons at the bar. According to police press officer Fitzroy Yearwood, Garcia was reportedly pursued by one of the individuals whom he had confronted moments earlier.
He opted to leave, and he was followed by one of the persons that they were arguing with, or persons, more than one of them, who got into the vehicle and claimed that he lost control. Witnesses are saying that he was driving at a very high speed when he ran over Garcia and crashed into a lamppost nearby.
Witnesses told News 5 off record that the violent impact of the collision flung the young man some distance away. The vehicle then ran him over before its occupants fled the scene. In refuting claims that the incident was gang-related, Lupita Garcia says that her brother was simply someone who stood up for himself.
Everybody hated my little brother because he did not love himself.
He was a person that stood up for himself. No one could come and chance my little brother because my little brother stepped up to them. That's how I really knew my brother. He did not leave himself.
26-year-old Marnie Chablé has been taken into police custody, along with 23-year-old Amir Gonzalez. The other male minors are 15 and 16 years old, respectively. Assistant Superintendent Yearwood spoke on the detention of the driver.
He then made good his escape from the scene and was later detained by police along with 3 others, including 2 minors. So we have them detained pending charges. Investigators are treating it in the same manner that you suggested, because it's too much of a coincidence that after you had an argument with a group, one of those persons may have used his vehicle as a weapon.
That vehicle was later set on fire. The blaze totally consumed it. Garcia's mother is calling on the Belize Police Department to conduct a thorough investigation of what took place on Sunday that resulted in the loss of her son.
I want us, the police, to investigate this matter because I know I left this. He's my son and he is not a dog. He did not kill a dog. The kid kill a person. And I am his mother and I have the pain in my heart. But I want to be strong for this because I want the police do its job.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
A deadly head-on collision has claimed the life of a taxi driver in Cayo district. The accident happened on Sunday night just before curfew. Alberto Jimenez was driving his cab along the George Price Highway near Ontario Village when he crashed into a compact crossover vehicle. Jimenez succumbed while receiving emergency medical treatment. The driver of the Ford Escape is also hospitalized. This morning, Assistant Superintendent Fitzroy Yearwood provided additional details.
Around 9:45 p.m., police were called out in the vicinity of Warri Head, where they saw a white Geoprism taxi and a Ford Escape. The victims of both vehicles were already transported to the Western Regional. We understand that Alberto Jimenez, who was the taxi driver, passed away while undergoing treatment. The other driver and his passenger are hospitalized, receiving treatment up to now. We know that NIPs have been served and the investigators will know what charges, if any, will be directed after the completion of that investigation.
Sir, is there any indication as to what caused the accident at this time?
So far we understand that the taxi was traveling from the direction of Belmopan towards San Ignacio, while the Escape was traveling in the opposite direction and they had a head-on collision. We do not know the main reason for the collision as yet, but as soon as the driver of the Escape is able to talk, because I know that as recent as this morning, they had to do a procedure on him, so we will have to wait until the doctors give us clearance to do an interview with him.
There is a sad end to a missing person story from last week. This evening, police have confirmed that the burnt remains found on a farm in Esperanza Village last week have been identified as those of missing fireman Peter Louis Jones. According to police, the remains were identified by his father, Peter Jones Sr. A family member told News 5 that Jones was last seen by his common-law wife on Monday evening as he left their home in Esperanza Village, and the family suspected that the burnt remains were his. A cause of death is not known. A post-mortem examination on the body of Jones Jr. certified the cause of death as undetermined. 2 weeks after he was shot dead in San Pedro town, 42-year-old Superintendent of Police Henry Jemmott was laid to rest in his hometown, Dangriga. He was given all the official trappings of a send-off fitting for a senior officer, and many onlookers lined the streets as the police, including the military band, played along the route leading to the cemetery. A News 5 team attended, and here's a report.
It was a celebration of the life of the career officer who worked with the Belize Police Department for almost 2.5 decades under varying capacities. His life was cut short 2 weeks ago on May 28, 2021. But for family and friends, Superintendent Henry Jemmott was king, born the only son among many sisters on February 6, 1979.
Today we say goodbye to the 23rd child and the youngest son of Maria Concepcion Arana Jemmott and Henry Levi Leon Alexander Jemmott Sr. The world hears his name, his weighty legacy, the Superintendent of Police, the protector, the gentle giant of a man. But to those of us who loved him and ached with his passing, we know Henry Jemmott as a father, a brother, a friend, and the king.
Hundreds of persons came out to say their final farewell to the senior cop at the Sacred Heart Parish in Dangriga, including ministers of government, Karim Musa and Dr. Louis Zabane, as well as senior officers of the Belize Police Department and other officials.
Henry the Police, I can't tell you, you heard it already, disciplined, dedicated, determined young man. His persona in the department with these attributes propelled him through many ranks of the police department. He worked tirelessly with passion, integrity, giving all he does. His aim was to bridge the gap between the police and the civilians, making Belize safe for all.
Jemmott was well liked by the community. His death hit his friend Kevin Sabal hard.
He show off bad, which I love very much. His transfers, boss, when you go for me, I go in at San Pedro, you know. I find no worry, I'm not done yet. The last time I met King was in Bengopan, and he was about to move to Cayo, San Ignacio. He told me that. I told him it was my birthday. He said, what will I do then? I said, buddy, the work. He said, work soon over. I stood there, we spent a night together, and the next time I heard about him is that he was being moved again to Belize City. And when the news broke that afternoon, I was at the farm. Farm duties canceled. Came home, meal canceled. Wait for it night, sleeping canceled. It's a tough time. Because at my house, he was referred to as your big son, they look for you.
In the eulogy on behalf of the family, childhood friend of Jemmott, Chef Sean Quillen, chronicled the life of the man who wore many hats.
Henry the friend, Henry the protector. Henry attended Sacred Heart Roman Catholic School, right here to my left. This is where I met him at age 7. Our friendship lasted about 35 years, give or take. And I don't know if you can understand when you say you got a friendship, but you give or take. The reason for give or take is because don't you ever make the mistake and not call King on his birthday, February 6th, because he will cut you off for the rest of the year. King the protector loved his family, loved his sisters, and later you'll see he named all of his children after them. He protected his loved ones and his friends to a fault. King the classmate, he was naturally very intelligent. King was the life of any room. Always happy, always dancing. If you look to the back of you, you got a little fence when they call Rabos Stadium, right? The time cable just gonna Dangriga now. And we watch BET, Black Entertainment Television. Jemmott with his friends VGD, And Bongo used to go make movie there with a cement brick on his shoulder. King loved drumming. We, myself, played a knock drum and every single thing we could knock drum. King loved sports. He traveled to many countries playing basketball. The man, I'm a maga man, you know, tall and maga. Later on, King's first job was a conductor on Richie Bus Line. We played on a band. King the drummer again. One summer, King traveled with us, the Grega Boys Band. As a matter of fact, this band was formed in my grandmother Manuela Young's yard, Victor Young's yard, in our cement vat. We used to practice every afternoon after school with old Ovaltine pan, calabash, shaka, turtle shell, makeshift drums.
Jemmott was a father of 5. Interestingly, he too had only one son. Moody for News 5.
Jasmine Harton, the woman charged with manslaughter by negligence in the shooting death of Superintendent Henry Jemmott late last month in San Pedro, is out on bail, awaiting a trial date. Coming up, was a wake for a police officer a COVID-19 super spreader event? Concerns about the images circulating this weekend and the police response when we come back.
For a premium lubricant when you're on the go, or a premium brake fluid when you need to stop, choose the brand that's built for champions. Come to Premium Lubricants, distributed by Enrique Martinez and Sons Limited, 2 miles Philip Goldson Highway, Belize City. WhatsApp us at 606-4154.
Are you tired of poor customer service or products that don't live up to your expectations? Fletz Electronics, centrally located in Spanish Lookout and Belmopan, is Belize's #1 source for mobile electronics since 2009. We carry the largest selection of mobile phones, parts, and accessories with prices you won't find anywhere else. We stand behind the products that we sell and offer a 60-day guarantee on all electronics. We are dedicated to offering the best customer service possible. Not from the area? No problem. We offer fast delivery service countrywide on most orders. Our online staff is ready to chat on Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. Fletz Electronics. Visit or chat online with us today and find out how we can best serve you.
Get ready! Universal Hardware in Belize City is having a mega sale week from Tuesday, June 22nd to Saturday, June 26th, with week-long deep discounts on Leafan and Malon motorcycles, Echo, Shindaiwa, and Makita power tools, Toolcraft hand tools, Sankey AC units, and much more. The grand raffle with great prizes will be streamed on Facebook Live on Saturday at 1 p.m. Universal, the preferred solutions provider.
DG and the National Bank of Belize are proud to partner with the Government of Belize to facilitate the disbursement of Belize COVID-19 cash transfer funds via our safe and easy-to-use mobile pays platform. After getting approval that you will be a beneficiary of the relief funds, you will be informed by SMS when your monthly payment has been deposited to your mobile pays account, which Digistore or National Bank branch you were assigned to, and when you can go in to collect. You must bring along the phone that the notification was sent to in order to present your account number and to receive your validation code and SMS receipt. You must also bring along a valid Social Security card. After your information is verified, you will receive a validation code which you are to give to the agent. The agent will hand over the full amount of funds allotted to you for that month, and you will receive an SMS receipt with a unique number for that transaction. Digi and the National Bank of Belize are committed to the development of innovative services for the benefit of all Belizeans.
Galenia Hospital, located in Cancun, Mexico's premier tourism destination, is a state-of-the-art healthcare facility that provides highly specialized medical services. We are Quintana Roo's biggest private hospital with board-certified doctors and staff. Some of our services include Cath Lab, Adult Intensive Care Unit, Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, emergency rooms, operating theaters, ambulance services, and more. We are a medically accredited hospital by JCI, Accreditation Canada International, and General Health Council, providing extraordinary care in every specialty, from our cardiology department to our neurology center. We are focused on treating the entire person, body, mind, and spirit. Contact us at medicaltourism@hospitalgalenia.com or visit our website at www.hospitalgalenia.com. Come to Galenia Hospital in Cancun for a truly personal medical care experience.
St. John's Credit Union.
Have you ever fallen delinquent on your loan payment? Don't know how to get back on track? Bounce back with St. John's Credit Union. Get 10 to 50% off interest and fee when you pay your arrears in full or make suitable payment arrangements on your account. Members who take advantage of this offer get a chance to enter a raffle to win fabulous prizes. Members are advised that this offer ends September 30th. Some conditions apply.
St. John's Credit Union Limited. Safe saving, smart borrowing.
Both the funeral and the wake for Superintendent Henry Jemmott were well attended by hundreds of people. While they all came out to pay their respects to the senior officer, there are many who were concerned about the non-compliance to quarantine regulations currently in place. Pictures and videos of the wake also circulated on social media, showing many attendees not wearing masks and dancing in close proximity. Assistant Superintendent of Police Fitzroy Yearwood says that while he did not attend the wake, he attended the funeral. He commented on the concern about overcrowding.
On weekends we have a curfew time, which is midnight, and sometime around midnight, I believe that's when the family decided that they had to bring it to an end for the purpose of, yes, they were getting the love of and support of relatives, but we also have to respect the curfew law. And they called that shot along with the Southern Regional Commander, who made a decision that it was time for them to end the celebration of the life of Superintendent Henry Jemmott. So say that overcrowding or so, I wouldn't know because, like I said, I didn't attend the wake, but I was there for the funeral. And I wouldn't want to comment about something that I personally did not see.
Today, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams officially announced that Assistant Superintendent Fitzroy Yearwood is now the Director of Communications in his office and will be the point man to liaise with the media. Yearwood returns to public relations, having held the post previously under Commissioner Alan Wiley in several instances. According to Yearwood, aside from the Compal, he will be solely responsible for media interactions.
I have always been a media person, so to speak, and it's just coming back to what I love doing, to explain to the general public in a more palatable fashion as to things that may affect their lives. I wouldn't call it sudden because, as you know, as a media personality, you're always ready to come back to what you love. And thanks for welcoming me back. And I hope that our relationship remains very strong. And of course, I'm always available. I will be the sole person. And yes, I have the necessary information to disseminate. At the same time, to not jeopardize investigations, we will just control what we believe needs to be known out there. And yes, Daniel, the post is Director of Communications and Media Relations from the Office of the Commissioner. This is not saying that the Commissioner will not address the media at times, but he has limited the amount of people that will address the media and break it down that it will be my job. And at times he will be the other person to be presenting the information to you.
But was Yearwood's shift to Communications Director of the Belize Police Department a political move to muzzle the Compal and his office? There is speculation from various quarters who question why Williams, who has also been very open with the media and is also a trained attorney, would need a public relations officer. Here's how Yearwood responded to that question.
Like you said, it's a suggestion and people are entitled to their own opinions. And the commissioner is the person that made that call. He's the person that personally came to me and asked me to do it. I don't believe it's muzzling. And like I said, he will do his appearances, but he is saying that it's getting overwhelming and he has other duties other than addressing media-related questions. So he made that call and I welcome the idea and I'm here.
After the break, vaccines arrive from Mexico. But are enough Belizeans getting vaccinated? Find out when we return. But first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
This COVID update is brought to you by Belize Medical Associates. This COVID update was brought to you by Belize Medical Associates.
Development and Housing is creating a registry for contractors with varying disciplines, qualifications, capacities, and skills. This will centralize all registered contractors in efforts of creating equal employment opportunity across the public and private sector, as well as will give confidence for owners in quality of listed contractors. Contractors will be categorized by the following disciplines. 1. General building. 2. Civil works road construction. 3. Bridge construction. 4. Land development. 5. Tradesperson. And 6. Specialist contractor. Applications can be gotten free of charge from the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing for the next 90 days or via email from the Project Execution Unit. Initial applications to the registry will be processed up to the 27th of August 2021. For more information, you can email ceo.secretary@mow.gov.bz or peu@midh.gov.bz. Register today and do your part to build Belize.
The vaccine is now available. We here at R&G Life encourage you to take the vaccine. Belize, it's time to roll up our sleeves.
I'm rolling up mine because I know what COVID can do to families.
Because I want to go back to the way things were.
I'm rolling up mine so that I'm able to do music again.
Because I want to protect my family.
Things are slowly getting back to normal. The new normal, which includes getting vaccinated. Take the opportunity to get vaccinated at the R&G Life Wellness Clinic Day on Friday, June 18th. We will also have blood pressure, cholesterol, and other screenings available. Get vaccinated. Roll up for Believe.
My name is Julie, and I'm a single mom raising a 10-year-old son. I'm the director for a conservation organization. When I started working in the field of marine conservation, it was absolutely male-dominated. It still is male-dominated. One of my first jobs was as a manager out on a remote island with all-male staff reporting to me. And one of my assistants was very upset with me and actually told me, the only woman whoever tells me what to do is my mom. And I have my son, and I really do want to show him that really anything can be done, and it doesn't matter who you are. From day one, I've been teaching my son that any job that a man can do, a woman can do. And he has learned this, and he now preaches this to friends and even my colleagues.
Live and let live. Respect for all Belizeans.
How is electricity sourced, transmitted, and distributed? We'll explain how we get power to you safely for your everyday use. BEL purchases most of the power you use from independent power producers in Belize and Mexico. The energy we provide to customers comes from a mix of renewable and non-renewable sources such as hydro, biomass, fossil fuel, solar, and a combination of sources from CFE. More than half of the energy produced in Belize is from renewable sources, making Belize #1 in the Caribbean and #2 in all of North and Central America. So how does this power get to your home? High voltage electricity moves for long distances from where it is generated along transmission lines that deliver to substations countrywide where the voltage is reduced. The lower voltage electricity is then transported by power lines to transformers on your neighborhood's utility poles. The transformer further reduces the voltage so that electricity can make its way into your homes through your meters. How are electricity rates determined? The Public Utilities Commission, PUC, sets electricity rates on a cost recovery basis. BEL projects the amount of electricity customers will need and the cost of buying and distributing it. Together, BEL and PUC use these projections to do a full tariff review every 4 years and annual reviews. The public is informed of these proceedings, so they have a say. The rates approved by PUC reflects the total cost of BEL to serve customers divided by the entire amount of electricity used by customers. If projections are too high and result in overcollection, rates are reduced going forward. When projections are too low and result in undercollection, rates are increased in future tariff review periods to recover losses. If we buy power from producers that cost less, we can charge less. This is why we are focused on securing new, cheaper sources of energy like solar power. What other solutions do we plan to introduce soon? AMI or smart meters. These provide real-time information on consumption and empowers customers to manage their bills. Solar energy. We are looking forward to adding solar generation to our mix and offer rooftop solar PV to reduce costs and improve reliability. Electric ground transportation. We aim to convert 50% of ground transportation in Belize to electric. By learning how to read your meter, you will better understand how you consume energy and how your monthly bill is determined. Manage your energy use by conserving wherever possible. We continue to serve our customers by keeping you updated and making it easy to reach us anytime from anywhere, whether it's getting information about our programs, connecting new service, providing options to pay your electricity bill, or reporting a hazard. We are always here for you.
The government of Mexico has donated 100,000 doses of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine to Belize. A small ceremony was held at the Philip Golson International Airport on Sunday, where the Minister of Health and Wellness, Michelle Shabat, expressed gratitude. Also present at the ceremony was H.E. Martha Zamaripa Rivas, Ambassador of Mexico to Belize.
At the height of this pandemic, Belize turned to its immediate friend and neighbor, Mexico, for support to accessing the COVID-19 vaccines. We understand from the Mexican authorities that it was a long and complicated process in seeking the technical and legal authorization for the vaccine. The successful completion of this process could not have been better timed, as this donation today will bolster our ongoing vaccination program. The immediacy with which our call for support has been responded by Mexico has not slipped us, and we are truly humbled that we are indeed the first country to be benefiting from Mexico's generosity.
Muchísimas gracias al gobierno de Belice. Es un gusto saludar a los beliceños a través de este medio. Pues quisiera decirles que, como ustedes saben, México está celebrando 40 años de relaciones diplomáticas con Belice. Esto es muy importante para nuestro país. Recordemos que Belice se declaró como nación independiente el 21 de septiembre de 1981 y fue México el primer país en reconocer la independencia de Belice. Si Belice declara su independencia el 21, para el 23 de septiembre México ya había enviado al primer embajador que llegaba a esta nueva nación independiente.
With the donation, Belize now has approximately 115,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines in country. But while the COVID-19 vaccines keeps coming in, the reality is that more than 230,000 Belizeans are yet to be fully vaccinated for the Ministry of Health and Wellness to reach its target. News 5 spoke to Dr. Natalia Baer.
In regards to the donation that we received from Mexico, 100,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccine, they started with a request submitted by Prime Minister John Diseño to the Mexican government, through the Mexican embassy here in Belize. And since then, they have been following up on this request, and well, finally it was materialized with the delivery of the vaccine.
What is the ministry's goal for vaccination, if you have one? How much people are we hoping to be vaccinated by what time? By a certain time then?
Yeah, the timing is a bit difficult because it depends on many variables outside of our control, like the availability of vaccines. Remember, we have shared with you all that the target for persons 18 years and older is 242,908 persons, 907 persons. And that represents 58% of the total population of Belize, which is 419,199.
An additional batch of COVID-19 vaccine will arrive next week through the COVAX facility. To date, more than 70,000 Belizeans have received their first shot.
We're expecting 33,600 in July from COVAX. And then probably by early next week, we should have the next allocation of 138,000 for Belize through COVAX. With this 100,000 that we receive from Mexico, that will definitely improve the access for the target population.
I would assume it's also dependent on the level of vaccination hesitancy we have in the country.
I think the issue that we're facing is there is a lot of misinformation. But I think people are understanding, and I must thank all the Belizeans that are assuming their individual responsibility towards ending the pandemic of COVID-19. So far, we have administered more than 70,000 doses. And I'm sure if we had more vaccine, we could have delivered more. But I do agree that more information needs to reach to population that haven't had access to information or sessions, sharing with them about the importance of the vaccine.
Of the 72,000 Belizeans who have already received their first dose of COVID-19 vaccine, up to 16,000 have received their second and final shot. Dr. Baer says vaccination hesitancy is not an issue among persons scheduled for a second dose. On the contrary, some are showing up too early for their second jab.
They're coming in, and they're coming even a little bit too early. But we're recommending 12 weeks between first dose and second dose. So remember, we started the first of March. As of March, April, May, June, we are just supposed to be starting the second dose, but we already have 16,000 doses administered. So I think we're pretty poised when it comes to the second dose.
And that early time period where people are coming in, that does not pose any sort of health risk to them by coming in early?
No, it's not no health risk. Some of them are getting ready to travel. Some of them, we did announce at the beginning 8 weeks, and then we moved to the 12 weeks. So I guess they're just honoring the date that we gave them for appointment.
When we return, a teacher gives a lesson on salary cuts and how they will affect many household budgets. Teacher Bonilla has the details when we return.
Make something. quality paint, no faded colors. When we go bold, we go merger. Let your imagination run free. Any color for this place, when we say bold, that mean it don't peel. Quality in every color, lifetime guarantee. When we go bold, we go merger. When we go bold, we go merger. Rain or shine, any color you need. When we go bold, we go merger.
What is climate change? Climate change, or global warming, as defined by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, is said to be the process of our planet heating up. The Earth has warmed by an average of 1 degree Celsius in the last century, and although that might not sound like much, it means big things for humans and wildlife around the globe. Rising temperatures is making our weather more extreme and unpredictable. Some impacts of climate change in Belize are flooding, drought, unstable weather patterns, and changes in seasons that affect agriculture, human, and wildlife activities. What is REDD+? REDD+ is a mitigation activity to reduce carbon emissions and increase carbon stock in the forest sector. The name REDD+ stands for Reducing Emission from Deforestation and Forest Degradation, plus Conservation, Sustainable Management of Forest and Carbon Stock Enhancement. How can REDD+ be a solution? Trees breathe the greenhouse gases we produce. We can start caring more for our forests by planting more trees and keeping our landscapes intact. Our forests are part of the solution. Also, by encouraging the adoption of sustainable forest management in Belize, we can help restore forests that have been lost.
Forests are linked to all aspects of human well-being. Think about the clean air that forests provide, that oxygen that we breathe. If it wasn't so clean, especially during that fire season, we would actually be facing a lot of problems. So breathing clean air is something that we may take for granted, but it's actually something that forest provides and that contributes to our health and happiness. One of the advantages of doing things associated with REDD+ in Belize is that it actually is a great mechanism for us to be able to maintain forests while at the same time sustainably using them and keeping all the services and goods that the forest provides to us intact, for example, water. At night, it's the trees and the plants in the forest that actually release that water that goes up in the atmosphere and eventually comes back as rain. If we don't have forests, that water is gone. If we think about our food security and the food that we eat, the agriculture industry and how important it is for Belize, we don't necessarily associate it sometimes with actual forests. But it's those forests that actually feed the soil organisms that cycle the nutrients and make our soils fertile. It's those forests that are a house and home for pollinators that pollinate our crops. And it's those forests that maintain the water that our agricultural areas need to thrive. Otherwise, we would be subject to things like droughts.
There is hope with REDD+.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
Teachers and government officers across the country will begin to see 10% less of their salaries starting this month since GOB's 2021 reduction in public service emoluments and allowances came into effect on June 1st. Those who stand to be directly affected protested the salary cut for weeks, while also fighting for good governance. And while those protests pressured the government of Belize to commit to passing at least 3 pieces of good governance legislation, GOB maintained the salary cut must be enacted to remedy its ballooning wage bill and revenue shortfalls brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. One teacher at Mount Carmel High School, Miguel Bonilla, made an appearance on Open Your Eyes this morning. Show today to explain how the salary cut affects his monthly budget. He also talked about what some teachers will have to do to cover their own financial shortfall because of GOB's action. News 5's Paul Lopez looks at Bonilla's presentation.
As it stands today, I have a mortgage, and here it's $950 because I just recently built a house. My whole family did not own a house, so I'm the first one to be a house owner. So that's $950. Bills, that's about $300 per month. Sorry, $300 per month. Then another expense is food. Let us say I can feed my family for breakfast with $5. That includes 4 adults and 2 children. $5 I will use, and this is my new budget to give them breakfast. I will give them for lunch $15, and for dinner that's another $5. That's $25 per day. In 30 days, that's $750. So for food, I'm spending now $750. And then I still have to buy soap, deodorant, and other things. You know, the mundane things. But just right here, I'm already having a leftover of $86.57. That's what I have for me to buy my soap, for me to buy maybe the toothpaste.
According to Bonilla, this budget still does not account for $70 he spends on a monthly basis for his mother's glaucoma medication. And while this is the breakdown for a teacher taking home just about $2,000 a month, Bonilla argues that there are teachers across the country taking home less with greater monthly expenses.
The reality down here is that now we don't have enough to live a life with dignity, especially if you're a person like me who's trying to move up, own a house, and starting to own little things here and there.
To adjust, Bonilla says his 75-year-old father now has to take up the slack by driving a taxi. Bonilla says many teachers have also gone to the route of exploring other streams of income, most resorting to selling food. The rippling effect here, however, is that teachers will now be cutting into the market shares of those who rely on selling food or other products as their sole stream of income.
What the macroeconomics of this will do is that there's 15,000 people who will be, more than 15,000 people who will be getting a cut. They will find alternative ways to fill in that gap. Those alternative ways might be a direct competition for those people who
rely on that.
Right. So the market share for the common Belizean, for the fudge selling Belizean, changes because now we are entering the market with our product, and because we tend to have a little bit more idea on how to use social media and all of this. I'm not saying that the average Belizean doesn't. What I'm saying is that now we are taking market share from them, which didn't used to happen.
Bonilla says in the most extreme cases, some teachers are temporarily withdrawing their children from university, while already marginalized families with large families are being significantly affected.
I'm going to cut expenses, and I'm going to find a way to survive. And no amount is too little if I can avoid the expense. I think that government should move in with that mentality also.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
The United Nations Children Fund, the UN Refugee Agency, and the International Organization for Migration have signed the first joint work plan for migrant and refugees in Belize. According to a joint release, the plan outlines strategic actions to protect the local population of migrants and refugees through advocacy and legal reform and strengthening of data systems, technical capacities to improve response and provision of services to support their integration into Belizean society. The plan also includes the development of minimum acceptable standards for service delivery in migrant and refugee hosting communities and protocols to protect against statelessness. The agency says they will continue community engagement through mobile hubs where asylum seekers, refugee and migrant families have access to services such as health and birth registration, as well as information on asylum and migration procedures. Belize is home to 2,394 registered and an estimated 3,400 more unregistered asylum seekers and refugees. The Supreme Court has refused an application filed by the Belize Fishermen Cooperative Association for leave to apply for judicial review. The claim was filed on behalf of the association following a ban by the government of Belize on the use of gill nets. Representing the collective was attorney Nazira Miles, who was seeking a constitutional facility for reviewing legislation pertaining to the prohibition of gill nets. Had the court granted leave, an order of mandamus would direct the Minister of Fisheries, Forestry, Environment and Sustainable Development, now the Ministry of Blue Economy, which falls under the portfolio of Minister Andrew Paris, to take all necessary steps to properly research, consult, and make fair regulations, if any, to allow gillnet fishing. In rejecting the application, Justice Westman James stated that the BFCA failed to advance any arguable ground for judicial review that has a realistic prospect of success. In a statement issued by Oceana this evening, Vice President Janelle Chanona said, quote, "We appreciate the Supreme Court taking the time to review the process that resulted in the ban against gill nets. The court's decision confirms the thoroughness of the process and the integrity of the ban. We look forward to continuing to work alongside registered fishers, the government of Belize, private sector, and others as we enhance and increase the abundance of Belize's marine resources to safeguard our independence on the Caribbean Sea." Unquote. Just ahead, the Department of Youth Services asks young Belizeans what they need. Their responses may surprise you. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
Available now at Bravo Motors.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, we're offering 19 to 25% off selected items such as Milwaukee and Axie power tools, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, and much, much more. And that's not all. The race is on Saturday, June 19th. All roads leads to Benny's Cotton Tree Compound, mile 43 on the George Price Highway, where we will host the first ever Benny's 100. To enter the race, all you have to do is purchase your cart kit from Benny's for only $100. Assemble your cart, sign up, and get a chance to ride off with fabulous prizes. Check out our Facebook page for more details. Remember, it's popping deals for Dad in June and Benny's 100 on June 19th, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's,
Why should you wear your mask? To protect myself. My friends. My family and others. I wear my mask because I love my grandparents. With so many reasons to wear a mask, we continue to advise persons to wear a face mask properly, covering both nose and mouth. Together, we can keep Belize COVID-19 safe.
I was 17 and in love, and I thought he loved me too. But now I know that a loving partner should not take away your choice of clothes you wear or the music you listen to. He should not take away your purse, car keys, or your phone so that when your family calls, you cannot answer. If your partner is controlling you, it is domestic violence. Call 0800 A Way Out or our cell phone number 672-9628. This message is brought to you by the National Women's Commission in collaboration with Miss Universe Belize, with funding from the Engender and Spotlight projects.
Es un hecho. Únicamente con Smart obtienes todo realmente ilimitado. Solo con Smart obtienes datos ilimitados en cualquier momento. Mientras que con el otro proveedor solo son datos dobles los fines de semana. Con datos ilimitados todos los días no hay necesidad de esperar, así que es un hecho que nuestros planes ilimitados superan a la competencia. Por lo tanto, no permita que le digan cómo y cuándo usar sus datos y obtenga llamadas, mensajes de texto y datos ilimitados. Vive la verdadera experiencia de planes ilimitados con Smart. Es un hecho. Haga el cambio y viva Smart.
The Ministry of Youth has embarked on an ambitious exercise that say it's the first of its kind. This week, they officially kicked off a national survey which will help create targeted programs for Belizean young people. Andrea Polanca reports on the survey launch this morning.
What do young people need in Belize, and how can government services and programs meet those needs? That's what the Ministry of Youth is trying to find out. To do this, they're doing an in-person survey of 1% of the youth population, or 8,000 young people ages 14 to 29 across the country.
We know that we had to get the participation and the information from young people in order to create the type of programs that young people literally need for their development in this country. This is history because it has never been done and never been done on this stage to provide an informed assessment, a needs assessment, programmatic assessment for and by young people.
The survey started last week in the Belize district and will expand to the other districts. A look at the assessment conducted in one area of Belize City shows that youth are concerned about poverty, crime, and psychosocial support services.
We focus on employment, on sports, COVID-19 livelihood, and services. So one of the, in terms of services, they're saying one of the high things that came out was counseling. So far, the young people that were questioned is saying that that is one of the high priority for them. And it kind of sounds an alarm that if young people are saying they need counseling as one of the highest response to that area, then it begs the question what really may be affecting our young people. We want to ensure that whatever plan we set out, we can go back to our young people and say, this is what we have listened to you, this is what we want to do, we want one more feedback from you, and say, okay, based on our consultations with the young people, we are going to do these things over these time period.
The ministry says that this is the first time a national youth needs assessment is being done in Belize. The data gathered from the survey will be analyzed and used to inform and guide the development of a youth strategy.
The needs assessment will guide us and inform us of the type of practice and programs that we need to put in place to harness the development and support systems that young people need to be working with our stakeholders. And therefore, this is a very, very important aspect of youth and development work and changing the paradigms that we have been utilizing over the last 10 years.
Erin Gabriel is one of the 70 trained data collectors conducting this national needs assessment.
The experience, just being out there for a week, we have seen and we have heard the concerns of many of the youths because, like I've mentioned, our youths are overlooked, their voices, their opinions. And it's so amazing because working with youths for 13 years, I've experienced firsthand the struggles that these youths have, and so many times what keeps them bounded in suffering in silence is because no one reaches out to them. This survey actually makes me excited to be a part because I want to be a change agent.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.
One of the new support services the Department of Youth Services has already rolled out is a counseling and wellness service. Director of DYS Kevin Cato says this is crucial, no matter what other opportunities are also being given.
We also added a youth counseling and wellness service. And we realize now that that was a very, very important strategy because in doing this assessment, and the minister will speak of it in a few, we realize that a lot of young people are asking for counseling services, especially in their communities, and believing that counseling is one of the key ingredients to change behavior and to change communities. I know that a lot of the strategies that has been used by NGOs and other stakeholders has been skills development, job opportunities, but I have always said, and it is being noted now, that the psychosocial aspect of young people needed change for their development. You could give people all the jobs you want. You could develop their skills all you want. But trauma, PTSD, and other traumatic experiences of the past still plays out. And until you could catharsis and let go of those behaviors and challenges, you won't be able to move forward in your life. And that's why the department has become so strategic.
If you are a young person in need of counseling, the DYS says this is available to you at the lower flat of the Education Building on the Northfront Street. The service is completely free. Over a month ago, we told you how the Ministry of Youth, through its Department of Youth Services, has amalgamated youth services providers under one umbrella program called the National Belize Training Institute. The Gateway Youth Center, the Belize Youth Cadet Corps, the Frank Lazama Training Center, and the National 4-H Agriculture Development Center have all been streamlined under the Institute to prevent duplication and to make services more targeted and accessible. And now the department has a new home. The ministry has relocated the DYS from its $8,000 a month home on Regent Street to the Gateway Center on Dacre Street in Belize City.
The old Gateway building is now transformed into the Department of Youth Services. We no longer have to pay that $8,000 again. We no longer have to renovate and upgrade a hotel that it's privately owned. Now we can upgrade and develop our own facilities and have an identity, including right now we have to find funds to rebuild our recording studio, which we paid about $20,000 to actually build. So we have to do that all over again. And this situation was not just in Belize City. This was also in the districts as well. The Department of Youth Services was paying almost $175,000 in rent annually. And we don't even want to get into the amount of funds that was being spent just on restructuring or refurbishing buildings that did not belong to the department. Totally unacceptable.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5police.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.